Hey everybody, it's the Harris family. So obviously if you guys have never been to this channel, welcome! It would be nice to actually add people to our family. And also if you have been here, how's it going everybody? So today I wanted to talk about something serious that has affected our family. If obviously a lot of you guys don't know, my son, he has eczema. And what I have looked up that says more about eczema says a topic, dermatitis. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. I'm obviously not a medical profession, even though I do hope to start school in August and start on the process to go more in the medical field. But it says usually develops in early childhood. It is more common in people who have a family history of the condition. The main symptom is a rash that typically appears on the arms and behind the knees, but can also appear anywhere. Treatment includes avoiding soap and other irritants. Certain creams or ointments also may provide relief from the itching. It says symptoms, what they say online. It says people may experience from skin, rashes, dryness, flakiness, bumps, fissures, peeling, or redness. Also common, itching. Then also it says online for treatments. It says treatment depends on severity. Treatment includes avoiding soaps and other irritants, obviously. Certain creams or ointments may also help relieve from the itching. It says medication, steroid-induced antihistamine, and topical antiseptic. Self-care, coal tar extract, ultraviolet light therapy, moisturizer, barrier cream, PUVA, and Ura. And obviously specialists that you can go to is pediatricians and dermatologists, and obviously go to your primary care provider to see if that might be what is going on. So with my son, we started noticing like a rash, like a dryness. Most children, obviously, when they're crawling, you know that, obviously, as a child yourself, being rambunctious, I know I was, you go along carpets, and you don't really notice it until later on, but you can end up getting, like, a rug burn, is what they call it, just a little rug burn. Obviously, it hurts, and it kind of looks like a rash. Well, with my son, before his first birthday, we started noticing that, well, it was around his first birthday, because with WIC, if anybody knows anything about WIC, whenever you hit the age 1 stage, they start introducing whole milk instead of formula. So we were transitioning from formula to whole milk whenever we noticed a change in his skin and how he was reacting to whole milk. And by I mean reacting, like he had reaction where we gave him, like obviously we slowly did, we went from formula to obviously baby foods, and then we started slowly introducing milk, and whenever we gave him milk for the first time, he threw it up, and it was curdled milk, and obviously some people are, oh yeah, not a big deal, but for him, it's more like his body wasn't doing too well with it, and he would always throw it up, and it would always be curdled milk. So, and obviously we did notice a little bit of a rash, and obviously I asked my husband about it, his father, and was, what do you think this might be? And he was like, well, obviously it must be rug burn. And I asked him, like, well, are you sure he might have the back and underneath of his knees? And he's like, okay, that is kind of weird. So what I decided to do was go to our pediatrician, and when I asked her about it, she said it's best if I go talk to a dermatologist, because obviously her special and their special is different. So that's what we decided to do. We made an appointment for the dermatologist, and obviously my mother, she is a nurse practitioner. I had her look at it, and she assumed it was eczema, and so that's what we did when we went to the dermatologist. We kind of already had it in our mind that it was eczema, so we asked her about it and what we could do for it, and obviously we already looked up, like I just did, and try to figure out what's best that we can give him. And one of those things, like he can't have whole milk, he can't have certain things with milk in it. Obviously any fun things, like stuff I love to enjoy, like pudding. He's not able to enjoy pudding unless it doesn't have milk in it. He mostly has soy milk. It's more like lactose free. I'll have to look more into that for everybody. And obviously, if I'm wrong about anything, please comment and let us know, because I obviously don't know too much about the medical field, like I've already said. And I'm just wanting to let you guys know what all we do to try to help him. And if anybody has ever seen their child in any sort of pain, it's heartbreaking. So with my son, I will show photos, obviously, of what we're dealing with right now. Because whenever if anybody has eczema, you know, with dry skin, with drier weather, it makes it worse. It makes it harder to be able to keep your skin smooth, and obviously when it's hot, you can't really cover up with moisture, and that's normally most of his clothes is long sleeve and long pants, and you guys will probably hear kids in the background. I'm a mom. Deal with it, you guys. If you want to be a part of the family, you're gonna have to deal with hearing kids, obviously. But and they'll be getting me underneath the door. Probably mostly my husband. He's probably my biggest kid I got. But I wanted to show you guys, and I also have pictures, and I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that we use. And obviously we had to change soaps for him. Anything that has scent in it was not good. We can't use anything with scent. And obviously if like Johnson's soap, I'll be like, oh, it's made for babies. Yes, it's made for babies, but also it has a scent to it. If you can smell anything to it, normally has a scent to it. It's normally too strong for the skin, especially with anybody who has eczema. So what we had to change to, we changed to California Baby. It's therapeutic relief for eczema, and it's a shampoo and body wash. And obviously it's like a smaller container. It is pretty expensive, and it has oatmeal and stuff like that in there, which also we occasionally, if it gets too bad and he has flare-ups, which is really sad, and he really does, and it's really bad. He'll have it where his whole skin gets really, really red. It kind of looks like an allergic reaction where you have hives. So we'll end up putting oatmeal in his bath, and obviously it helps soothe him, and it helps really well for his flare-ups, which then they do get pretty bad, and it's really heartbreaking. And we also changed to a different detergent, because we've tried so many different detergents for him, and so far this has been a pretty good detergent that we use. It's for sensitive skin, and something that, like, whenever I first looked it up about eczema, it said it's most common when family members have eczema. And before him, I did not know anything about eczema. My family doesn't have it that I know of, and my husband's family doesn't have any that he knows of. So it was kind of just out of the blue that our son got eczema. And I know a lot of people are thinking like, oh, well, maybe it's something you did during your pregnancy. With my son, I'm not going to kid you, I was pretty anal. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have juice, no more soda, the ice water. But I did have a craving with him, which I wanted like boneless chicken wings. And obviously when you're pregnant, you have to have it because you're so hungry, like you can't live without it. But mainly I did everything. Obviously didn't drink, I don't smoke. So none of those things I did while I was pregnant with him. I literally tried to do everything possible as that I could being pregnant that I needed to do. Obviously I took my prenatals, and whenever, because I had really, really bad morning sickness with him. So with him, I think I had morning sickness for about 4 months. So like right before I found out how far along I was with him, that was right around the time my morning sickness finally stopped. And obviously taking that big horse pill of a prenatal, it was hard whenever I threw up all the time. So what I found was best was obviously gummy prenatal vitamins, so that's what I took. And so with him, like everything was fine during my pregnancy with him. Didn't see no problems. He was perfect. Obviously I did have him 2 weeks earlier, so I had him at 38 weeks and I think 5 days. And I had no problems besides with breastfeeding, just obviously another topic. Some people are weird about it, but I did. I breastfed both my babies. But with his eczema, like, no one can say, well, might have been something you did while you were pregnant, and I didn't. And that's why it's kind of weird whenever it just shows up whenever he turns 1 and whenever we introduce him to milk. And with hot weather, it's harder for him and for us to try to accommodate for everything he needs, considering it's easier when it's cooler weather to keep his eczema down. When it gets really hot, he gets really irritated and he starts itching, and that's the problem, is his itching. So what we end up having to do, because his itching gets so bad where he don't think, so he'll be sitting there watching TV and he scratches, and obviously I will end up getting that on video eventually, but he'll sit there and he'll scratch and he watches TV, and he'll scratch so bad that he'll end up getting he'll cut through his skin, he'll bleed, and he'll get scabs. So we'll end up having to use triple antibiotic ointment, obviously, to try to help make sure nothing happens. And what we end up recently doing, because his eczema is so bad, and during the hot weather it gets even worse. It's hard to imagine that it could be worse than where it is now. So we went to another dermatologist. It's like the same people, but it's not the same people we saw in the first place. Which the same with the people we saw before. They gave us an oil for him, and it was obviously after he was 1, before his 2nd birthday. They gave us oil for him, but for him, every time we put the oil on him, he would scream like he was in massive, massive pain. And obviously you want to do whatever is best for your child to try to make sure that they're not in pain, and then you put oil on them and they seem like they're in the worst pain. So we had to deal with that a little bit, where we would put some oil on him, wait a day, and try to put more lotion on him. And lotion, it didn't really do much. It obviously made the skin around it smoother, but more of the recommended stuff that we were given, the oil did have some steroid in it. And obviously the stuff we use like crazy, and you can tell we also have another empty container in our top drawer of this stuff right here. But the bad thing about this is the fact that it has steroid in it. Otherwise, that is the best stuff that we could get over the counter, is the cortisone 10 intensive healing lotion for eczema, because it really does work. It really does help his skin. It really does help soothe it, helps get for time being get rid of it. And obviously the only thing different from my child than even his sister is the fact that he has eczema. There's nothing else that's different besides the fact that we have to accommodate to he has to have different milk than she does, because obviously anybody else, well, does she have it too? And no, she doesn't. And honestly, with her, I wasn't as anal with her as I was with him about, oh no sugars, no caffeine. Obviously I had a couple sodas with her due to the stress and due to going to school. I needed a little bit of caffeine, but other than that, I didn't do anything that people would consider was bad during my pregnancy with her. With him, I did everything I needed to do and more. But with him, we did oatmeal, we did detergent that we use. The old stuff that we use, like, I mean, this is stuff, I mean, we love to use it, but we don't want to use it if it's going to affect his skin later on. Which steroid for him, for eczema, it will temporarily relieve a lot of symptoms. I'm trying to sneak in here. And what happened with it, with steroid, is it thins the skin. So the more we use it, the more it makes his skin susceptible to tear and breakage so easily. So other stuff that we have tried, lotion-wise, this stuff didn't do too well compared to obviously the steroid stuff. And not for sure, yeah, it's the steroid-free and fragrance-free. So this stuff we used obviously was not as good as the stuff that does have steroid in it. The Skull Bond, it wasn't too bad, but we got to use quite a bit of it, and he didn't like getting put on at all. He's pretty traumatized by the oil stuff that we had to use. This lotion stuff, I mean, I've even used it on my tattoos because they recommend stuff that's fragrance-free and that sort of stuff for healing process of tattoos. So this is stuff we also use for him It's a Vino Baby Pediatrician recommended fragrance-free daily moisturizer lotion. We put this on him too. Obviously, do whatever we can to help relieve his skin. They have also used Neosporin. It also has no steroid in it. So this is just what you'd put on normal skin. Nothing that's really going to help with his eczema, even though it is recommended for eczema. It hasn't really done too much to really help him like the steroid stuff did, but even though it's not as great as it could be. What we had gotten at the Dollar General, this stuff wasn't too bad. It's also steroid free. It was actually pretty soothing. And it's cheaper. This eczema therapy cream, my aunt ran to the store and got some whenever we ran pretty low on lotion, which you'd be surprised how much lotion we have. This stuff I thought we could use because it said oatmeal, and oatmeal is good for his skin, but considering that it has vanilla in it with the oatmeal because of the scent, we can't use it for his skin. Obviously, he can use it for hers. Hers is fine. Because he also has eczema all over his face. Like, he'll have it underneath his eyelid. He has it right under here. You'll see a lot of it right here on his chin. And what we use for his face is a hydrocortisone cream. So, and what we were prescribed, we actually have quite a few of these containers because they're supposed to last us a couple months. We started using this instead of the oil that we were given because this is less of an alcohol content to it, which that's what she told me, was it's less of an alcohol content compared to the other stuff, which me as a mom, I was obviously frustrated considering why would you give someone who's younger more of an alcohol content than when they're older for their skin. That's just the mom in me just being frustrated because obviously you can tell there's a lot that goes into his eczema issues. And I say issues as in because it's not something you normally have to take care of with any other child. And obviously it's not a problem. We don't love him any less than what we love our daughter. It's just easier for us to like get up and go for her than it is for him. We have to make sure we have everything that he might need. That like if we have to go somewhere, if we have to stay the night somewhere, we have to make sure we have these things because otherwise he's going to be suffering. And it's the worst thing to see your child suffer. So I just wanted to, if you guys have any thoughts, any opinions on different things that we should try for him, obviously other than the stuff that we have been prescribed to give him that's more over the counter that you guys have had a better experience with. I mean, this is something else, like we look more into our sunscreens now. Obviously you look more into bug repellent, more things that are more natural that won't affect his skin and won't have any flare-ups. So that's something, see with her, they obviously will take baths together quite often, obviously because they're young enough not to know anything. It won't be an issue anytime soon. They're only 2 and 1, soon to be 3 and 2, and obviously once he goes to school it'll be a little bit different. They're really trying to get in here. But other than that, it's just something I wanted to raise awareness for, is if you see anything such as rashes and your child is itching and scratching and you don't know why, please go to a pediatrician as soon as possible. Please talk to them, and then please make an appointment with your dermatologist. Set up any appointment with the dermatologist so you do have one, because it only gets worse from there. Once you start seeing the signs, it's better to start once you see them than it is to try to accommodate where you got to. And it only gets worse. The heat makes it worse. Him itching, her itching. But if they're itching it, it makes it worse. Obviously, not taking care of it, not doing anything to try to help soothe it. Like obviously, any lotions, because their skin is a whole lot drier than anything else. And I'll show pictures of it, obviously. appreciate it. We are open to any sort of ideas. Obviously, we have tried quite a few of them. So if you think of any fabric softeners that work better, any lotions that work better, any ointments over the counter that work better, anything like that, that would really help. We'd love to hear any advice out there, because how else are we going to be able to know anything unless we're told by somebody else who knows a little bit more. So other than that, I am so glad to see new faces, even though I can't really see you. And I'm glad to see familiar faces, even though I can't really see you. So please subscribe, like this video, and obviously comment below to let us know what you think are good ideas of things that we should buy, and obviously things that we should probably stop buying. Obviously, let us know your experience. We'd love to get to know people, love to get to know the family that we're going to grow. So please subscribe, and we'll talk a little bit more, try to get to know everybody a little bit more, and that's it.